think we're losers, but that's about to change. I know where the treasure of Foggy Mountain is.
From when we were kids?
We are looking at 100 mil.
$100 million?
It'd be like, I mean, I know it's more than this, but at least $1 million each.
Significantly more.
Obviously, you started working with PDD, Please Don't Destroy, on SNL. I wanted to ask about how you came to work on the movie together. Were you always a part of that process? Did you come in once the script was complete? What was that like?
They had written the first draft of the script before getting on SNL, and it was like kind of, I think it was set up with Judd and Universal before they got, like, the summer before they got SNL. And then I was there, and I was sort of like, I was leaving in like 3 months or so. I knew I was gonna leave to just come back to LA, and they had just started working there, and it was kind of this like whirlwind of fun, just making videos with them and kind of trying this like new thing on the show. And so we made a couple of videos together, and then maybe around December of 2021, they were like, hey, we have this movie set up with Judd and Universal. We're looking for a director. We really kind of hit it off. And they were like, would you want to read it and tell me what you think? And I was like so excited to read it and to potentially work on it with them. And I did. And here we are.
What was it like working with Judd?
It was great. It was awesome. It was like, he just has so many lessons to impart, and he's very like fatherly and he's very funny. And he was very involved in helping. He was very much like, what do you need? What are you worried about? He'd be very available if you wanted to like talk to him on the phone about something, if I was like worried about something or thinking about something or had a problem. There was like the whole time when you're prepping it, because it moves so fast, and you're writing and casting at the same time and prepping, scouting locations. It felt like things were, you're just like, is this going okay? Like, is this going to work out? And there was one time I was like, has this felt like this before? And he was like, it always feels like this before when you're doing a movie. Like, it feels like crazy and exciting and nerve-wracking. He's like, that's why I love it. And he brought up Anchorman and how, that movie was like this really big question mark with the studio, where they were excited to make it, but also didn't know what it was. And kind of were hedging a little bit and didn't necessarily like get it. And Will and Adam McKay were all just like excited, but kind of nervous. It was like, he said, it was like a kind of similar thing where, you're just like slowly creating something that you're really proud of, and I think it was really helpful to have that perspective and all that experience to pull from.
I read that Ben Marshall mentioned you were a big part of the writing process. Was that a lot of like on-set rewrites and sort of like directing improvisations? How did that go?
Yeah, it was kind of all that stuff. I also, was really excited about something that's about, people in their 20s and kind of like going through these like weird crises. Like, I think that's a really universal thing for anyone, and I think especially now, like, young people are just kind of like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, and I think you kind of think you need to do these things, like get married or a serious relationship or like a serious career. And then on set, I was just kind of dancing with them whenever I kind of saw them going in a direction, or kind of, it's always the most fun thing when you're like shooting something with performers like these guys who are so comfortable with each other, where they say something and you can kind of see it leading to something else, and they kind of like get excited about it, and then you just kind of push them like really far in that direction. Is really fun. So it was kind of just like all of the above, like, that was pretty involved.
It's a cast full of, besides the PDD guys, a lot of comedians and talented improvisers. Do you have any like favorite dead darlings that you guys had to take out? Because I know when there's improvisation, you have to, trim it down.
Yeah, there were two scenes that were really, really funny that they were so it was just at a time in the movie where you just need the momentum to keep going. And it was a bummer because we really loved these scenes. It was like this one scene where Marin is they were both at the cult, and Marin kind of has like a drug trip and ends up like having this vision where he sees God, and like but it's Marin as God, and like and God is really like insecure because he's like because being Christian isn't cool anymore. It just like turns into this like weird thing where Martin's like kind of like dealing with God's like shit, you know? And it was really, really funny. It just like it was at the time and it just at the time of the movie where you're like, where's this movie going? You know, you can't like park for too long. So that was an interesting thing that I learned of like, you know, you can have the funniest scene ever, but like if it's at a point in the movie that kind of, you know, slows it down a little bit story wise or whatever, it doesn't, you know, matter. And, you know, I love that scene and hopefully it comes out somewhere.
Conan rarely acts. Was having
No,
in the movie.
he should do more. He's so good. Like he really, I think it's just one of those things that like, you know, no one's ever really asked him to do that in a serious way, like act not as himself in a movie. But he was really excited. He approached it in a really like becoming way where he was like, I just want this to be really good and I want this to be funny and I want to do my best and I want to do right by you guys. Like that was his whole thing. Like he was like, I hope I do a good job for you, which was so different than that. It's just like not what I expected because he's kind of doing us a favor, like a mitzvah by being in this movie. And for him to do it, not only do it, but approach it that way was really like heartwarming and really sweet and really and he's just so funny and he made so many things like so much better and he's just a great vibe on set. I wish he was around the whole shoot, honestly.
Well, thank you so much. Congratulations again. And
thank you.
Of course. And be sure to check out Please Don't Destroy: The Treasure of Foggy Mountain on Peacock on November 17th.